If you don't want crowds, then you need to come in winter, November, December, well, not even December, November and January.
Okay.
But the weather is not very nice.
Yeah.
If you're referring to weather, then you need to come in spring. But then there are loads of crowds. No, I want them both. No, you can't have them both. That's the way it is. Showing people how much there is to be done in Venice, so people don't stay for a day and they say, oh no, I can't do that in a day, I need to stay 4 or 5 days.
Yeah.
And then you solve a problem and everybody's happy. Responsible tourism is number one, you come over, you don't go Airbnb, you go hotel.
Yes.
Because Airbnb, we now know, it's not like we don't know anymore, we know this. Airbnb in Venice has caused the fact that nobody can rent a home anymore long term.
Do you offer tours in Venice?
Of course I do.
Yeah. What type of tours do you offer?
My question is how many tours do you offer? So I got my main one, that is a Cicchetti tour, for which I've also actually just last year published a book. It's in Italian at the moment, but it will come out in English, I hope soon.
Welcome to the Winging It Travel podcast with me, James Hammond, where every Monday I'll be joined by guests to talk about their travel stories, travel tips, backpacking advice, and so much more. Right now, I'm taking the podcast on the road travelling with me, so tune in every week for short form episodes detailing all my travels alongside my Monday guest episode. Are you a backpacker, traveller, gap year student, or simply someone who loves to travel? Then this is the podcast for you. This is a casual, informative podcast designed for you to inspire you to travel. There'll be stories to tell, tips to share, and experiences to inspire. Welcome to the show. Let's get into the episode.
Hello and welcome to this week's episode, where I'm joined by Monica Cesarato, who's a native to Venice, and we're currently in Venice recording this episode. Monica is a food blogger, a travel blogger, a cooking instructor, and a podcaster. And right now we're having an aperitivo in Venice, and we're going to discuss everything about where we are in Venice, podcasts, blogs, TV shows, the whole lot. Monica, welcome to the show. How are you doing?
Fine, thanks, and thank you for having me, or shall I say for me taking you?
I'll tell you what, this spot right now is a nice little enclave in a bar.
I know, it's one of my favorite spots. This is actually one of the oldest osterie. It's called, can I say the name? Yes?
Yes, of course.
Okay. Cantina Azienda Agricola. This is one of the oldest cantine osterie in the city of Venice. It goes back to at least 50 years, we know for sure, maybe more than that.
Is it local or is it more tourist? Or is No.
Okay, this until about 2-3 years ago was really local. Only the old guys used to come here. Then obviously now people all over the world start to discover Cicchetti, thanks to me too. And of course now is a place where you can hear all languages coming in, but it's still a place where all the locals come and eat. This place actually was just featured recently on Apple TV on the Reluctant Traveler with Eugene Levy. That's where we filmed the Cicchetti section.
Eugene Levy, as in Schitt's Creek?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, I love that show.
Yeah, that was him. And then we filmed about a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
And it was released last week.
Wow, I need to check that out. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. That's a good start. Okay.
Oh, and Stanley Tucci came here for a drink after he filmed The Next Door. So this is one place to come when you're in Venice. Definitely, yes.
Okay, so the next question is, can you tell people whereabouts in Venice is this place?
Yes, we are in the Sestiero Cannaregio. So you know, Venice is divided in 6 areas. The districts are called Sestiere, from number 6, sei in Venetian. This is the Sestiero Cannaregio, that is one of the most residential and one of the biggest in Venice. And this particular place is literally just outside the Jewish ghetto. You literally 5 minutes walk from the ghetto. Yeah.
And
so
if you go to the back of it,
you're in Fondamento Ormesini. That is the movida, the nightlife of Fridays and Saturdays, where everybody come and have a happy hour spritz and so on.
And it did feel residential, like further back as well. I went further back and just walked some random streets.
Yeah. You can, everybody when they come, they go to Rialto, San Marco, and they don't realize that there are places like these areas here where you can walk for 20 minutes, half an hour, and the tourists are not there, or very little of it.
I've got some questions about tourists later. Because I've done some research and I've got some from the podcast as well, some research about that. But first of all, a bit of backstory. Mm-hmm. I called you a native of Venice. Is that strictly true?
No, I'm a Venetian because in Venice is not just the city of Venice, it's a province. So I am from the province of Venice. I only live about 5-10 kilometers from here, but I used to come to school here when I was a kid. My high school literally was in front of a ghetto, so I am a Venetian in essence, and I'm a Venetian because I spend most of my time in Venice rather than at home. So yeah, I am a Venetian, and I'm a Venetian at heart anyway. So.
And do Venetians have their own language or dialect?
Yes. No, don't define the dialect.
No, I'm just merely asking the question.
No, it's not true. Okay, so we all speak in Italian in Italy, and then we have all different dialects.
Yeah.
Venetians is considered a dialect. They had to, because of course Italian had to become the national language of a country.
Yeah.
But Venetian was talked in Venice until Venice became part of the Regno d'Italia in 1861. So it is a language on its own. We're talking about at a time where Venice used to be a major, it was like an empire. It was a republic that extended all the way to Milan, all the way to Trieste, all of the Adriatic coast down to Turkey, Greece, and Cyprus. In all the major European courts, they spoke French, Latin, Greek, and Venetian.
Oh wow! Yeah, great fact. Mm-hmm. Is it still taught at some level?
They don't teach in school, but most of us speak it. I mean, most of Venetians speak Venetian amongst themselves. It's very interesting because when a foreign person comes to Italy, if they go and stay maybe in Rome, if they go and stay in Florence, they do tend to be able to learn better Italian because people tend to speak to them in Italian.
Got it.
Very hard for foreign people when they come and live in Venice because the majority of Venetians will speak in Venetian, even though we can speak Italian, but it's just second nature.
So it's like an example would be for listeners like Barcelona, for example, where they speak Catalan.
Yes.
But you can speak Spanish.
Yes.
Because obviously it's a national language, but they would all speak Catalan.
Yeah. But Venetians can be very different. I mean, the basic is still a Latin language, so the grammar is the same, but you have very different words. For example, in Italian, sedia means chair, sedia. Mm-hmm. In Venetian is carrega.
That's completely different.
That's because Venice had so much influence from the Spanish, the Arabs, the French, the Austrians, the Turkish, the Greeks, the Romans. We were merchants. So wherever we went, we brought back, and we brought back the goods, but we brought back also a way of saying words and cuisine, and you all mingled together. And so we are like a mini America, a melting pot where, of different
like
kind
of
cultures. So
those places are amazing because some places are like, I don't know how to describe this. In London's like a melting pot of cultures, right? But the rest of England's not like London.
Yes. I lived in London many years, so yes, okay. I totally agree. Totally agree.
Yeah, and when someone says they go
to
England,
big difference though is that in London I always found there are well-defined areas for each population. So you will have the areas where the Italians were, the areas for the Jewish, for the Afro-Americans and so on. Mm-hmm. When you stand in Venice, you don't have that. Okay. It's always been everywhere.
Yes.
It wasn't, because the area is so small anyway, so we couldn't have, apart from the Jewish gate, of course, that was a little different.
Yeah, that has its own little
Its own little story as well. It's different, that's why.
More questions about Venice in a bit. Just very quickly about you. Mm-hmm. So I mentioned here that you are a food blogger and a cook instructor, and also a travel blogger as well, I said in the intro. So first of all, blogging, that means writing. How did you get into that?
Oh my God, that was back in 2008. Okay. Back in the days, I don't have it anymore, but I used to have a bed and breakfast.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
And to promote my bed and breakfast. And because I noticed that many people that were staying in my place didn't really know much about Venice, as in really how not to get conned, where to be properly. I started writing with the idea that it would be a good idea to promote the business as well, and also to share informations.
Yeah.
Then I closed the business. The blog stayed.
Yeah.
I started to run cooking classes and food tours. I started to become a food writer because I started doing also restaurant reviews for for a local magazine here in Venice, and then it just developed from there. And then last year I started my podcast as well. So all different kind of things.
If you were now bed and breakfast, would you just do the podcast? Do you think? Or would you still do the blog?
Sorry, if
you had a bed and breakfast right now.
Oh, I wouldn't have a bed and breakfast right now. No way. Now things have changed.
Oh, okay. No. Yeah, that's beyond my knowledge. The question was, would you just do podcast alongside?
No, because I'm always the kind of person who likes to do 1,000 things. I'm pretty sure that I was born in the wrong gender and in the wrong time period. I should be male in the Renaissance, because I feel like I get bored very easily. So for me to do all different sort of things, it pays the bills, thankfully, but it's also one way for me to always, if I started, doing something for too long, when honestly, I get bored. I really get bored.
So that'd be interesting with your podcast then, because obviously if you start doing that for, 2 years.
No, 6 months ago.
I know, but when it comes to 2 years, are you going to...
No, I usually last 10 years.
Okay.
Usually I get bored after 10 years. But I'm pretty sure something new will come up by then. And anyway, I'm going to be on TV, so it's all right. Who cares about the podcast? I'm going to be famous on TV.
We will come to that as well. Let's go to a bit of travel.
Yeah.
Growing up, did you explore other parts of Italy?
Actually, not that much, because my parents weren't very rich, so we kind of stayed very local.
Yeah.
But I did study tourism.
Oh, okay.
So it was in my head always to travel.
Yeah.
And I actually started to travel to Italy when I lived in UK for 11 years. Only when I came back, and then that's when I started going around. And then once I started becoming a blogger, I started to get invited, to go all different places. But I still have a south to explore properly. But but Italy's got so much to offer. It's crazy.
Okay. First question is: you lived in the UK.
Yep.
Where and why?
London, because unfortunately I was married to a British man.
Oh.
So let's skip to the next question.
Yeah. And next question is, where?
Oh, in London, just
London?
outside. No, in Essex. It turns out, just outside, but turns out what was interesting, it was the fact that I lived in London. What was interesting, what I was doing in London, because I was one of the first female push bike couriers, bicycle couriers in the UK in the 90s.
Delivering?
All over, riding all over London, delivering parcels and stuff. I remember the biggest parcel I did to deliver was back in the days when they used to use. Do you remember when they used to be filming, and they used to have these big kind of round things with the film in it?
Yeah.
And they were heavy. Yeah. And I remember one day I had to take 10 of those on my back. Up a hill. It was like, never again. But it's interesting because that's when I first got on TV. I actually got my first TV interview because I was one of the first female riders. So it was interesting.
It's just so niche. It's so interesting. Yeah.
And it was very cool because every time I had a flat tire, there's always a male guy helping me out. So I never had to change a flat tire. That was interesting, actually. That was fun.
That wouldn't be me because I don't know how to.
I know, you have to learn how to learn. Yeah, let's say after a while, they suss me out. They said, no, Monica, we'll teach you how to do it now.
Yeah. Okay, and then let's go to cooking before we get to Venice. Where did this start? I mean, first of all, this might be a generalisation. Italians, how can you not be into cooking? Because your food is generally considered the best in the world.
Yes.
And you probably would remember your mum cooking amazing dishes.
I learned from my mum by watching her. She never even told me anything. Yeah. I would be just sitting at the table watching her cooking, and that's how I learned how to cook. It's funny because I remember once saying something like this to a Chinese person that couldn't ride a bicycle, and I said, look, it's in an Italian DNA to be able to cook. How come you Chinese and you cannot ride a bicycle? There's something wrong here. So now I get it. I would say that the new generations of people, more and more women and guys, we have more people that cannot cook.
Yeah,
because
I'm not surprised at that.
Yeah, but I think it's I see this worldwide in other cultures as well, because with fast food and frozen stuff and whatever.
Too easy, isn't it?
Yeah. But I remember, I think it's also a question that for me, it's not just about cooking. Before cooking, I like eating. Yeah. He's seeing me right now, so if you could see me, you totally understand why. Because let's say I'm not exactly what can be called thin.
Same.
Yeah, so I do enjoy what I cook, and I can't remember who said this. Don't ever trust a chef that is thin.
Okay.
Yeah, but because I always like cooking. I actually love the food in England as well. I like to try new. Oh yeah, I like to try to experiment. I'm very traditional when it comes down to cooking certain Italian Venetian recipes.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I like experimenting. My point is, though, if you're making something traditional and you mix something else, do not call it traditional.
True.
It's an experiment. That's what I drove a line. So you can have a traditional dish.
Yeah.
You can mess about as much as you want, but do not call it with a name. That's all I'm saying.
I think I said that to my partner the other day. I think like English culture or American maybe, they just complicate, like Italian food, for example, they complicate it. It's
I
like,
know.
When you come to Italy and you get spaghetti with tomato sauce, it is literally just that.
Spaghetti, tomato sauce,
there's nothing else like alongside.
I mean, it's like everybody is trying to mess about with carbonara.
Yes,
okay.
or bolognese.
It's not a Venetian dish, okay? It's from Rome, but it is one of the simplest dishes to make. It's egg yolks, pecorino cheese, guanciale, pepper, salt, pasta. That's it. Why do you have to add cream? Just do the right portions. I think the problem is that we do have our ingredients that do taste better. The basic ingredients have got more flavors here.
Yes.
Okay. And and I know, because for me it was hard to cook in England for that reason.
Yeah, can imagine.
But I don't think I will never ever dare to add sugar to tomato sauce in Italy. But I had to in England because the tomatoes were so acidic.
Yes, got it.
Okay. But at the same time, you do complicate dishes that, are so simple. And above all, Venetian cooking. Venetian cooking is known, sometimes is misunderstood for plain, because we do like our dishes. You have one main ingredient that must be extremely fresh, and then another two, three, maybe four ingredients to complement it, to enhance the flavor, not to cover it. We're not big on sauces. We're big on herbs. Not even on spices. Spices are coming back.
Yeah.
But it's more herbs, parsley. Oh my God. We have a saying in Italia, in Venetian particularly, we say, ti sei in mezzo come il prezzemolo. You are in the middle like parsley. It means you're everywhere like parsley, because we use parsley in every dish.
Okay, got it. Yeah.
Okay, so, but we like that. But, if somebody says to me, I have some chicken, just some breast chicken, I will just go like, okay, just grill it. And then a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, a bit of olive oil, done. Takes you 5 minutes.
Like that. Yeah.
Healthy. It's healthy.
Yeah.
And it's very flavorsome. Don't like oil. Put some lemon juice on top. It's just,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I totally hear you on that. I'm not bad at plain food, but I am a bit of a sauce fan. So.
Well, I've been to America about a couple of months ago, and I get it.
Canadians, Americans,
for
go.
me, it was a shock when I opened my friends' fridges, and it was like a whole shelf only full of sauces. Yeah. And I'm looking at them and says, "Why do you need so many sauces?" And I go, "Well, because you put it here, you put it there." I go like, okay, in my fridge there is mayonnaise. That's about it. Maybe a little bit of mustard if I'm lucky.
Oh, what type of mustard?
Oh, I like Dijon mustard. I like and Italian mustard, but generally the Dijon mustard. I like.
That's one thing the Brits get a bit emotional about when you say, "Oh, add a bit of French mustard." Oh, French. They got English mustard because it's a bit more harsh on the taste. I don't know what it's like here, but
I don't know. I like the Dijon mustard.
Okay, Dijon.
It's not so kicky.
Okay, got it.
It's a bit more grainy as well.
Okay, before one slight cheeky question before Venice, UK dishes, any favourites?
Oh, UK? Oh, no, loads. Oh, I like pies. I like shepherd's pie. I like all pies.
Yeah.
I miss fish and chips, a proper fish and chips.
Mushy peas?
No way.
That's what I miss the most.
No way, mushy peas. No way.
It's so good.
No. Mushy peas, no. And apple pie. Oh, I miss my apple pie.
I'm not a fan of that pie. Ooh, okay. Interesting. Let's get to Venice. I think people want to hear stuff about Venice, so I've got loads of questions, as you have seen. First of all, I'm going to kick off Venice, best time of year to visit. Now, I'm going with here, maybe, like, it's not too busy, but the weather's okay. Yeah, like, any particular...
You can't have them both.
No,
so somebody asked me exactly the same question on Instagram a couple of days ago, and I had to stop the conversation because I got annoyed. Because he asked me, no, with a person, because he said to me, oh, best time to come to Venice. I said, would you refer to weather or do you refer to crowds? If you don't want crowds, then you need to come in winter,
Yeah.
November, December, well, not even December, November and January.
Okay.
But the weather is not very nice.
Yeah.
If you're referring to weather, then you need to come in spring. But then there are loads of crowds. No, I want them both. No, you can't have them both. That's the way it is. I got to say, unfortunately, what has changed in the since the pandemic, though, and since getting out of the pandemic, is that we used to have a low season in winter.
Yeah.
And it was great for the Venetians because the type of tourism tourists that used to come in the city changed. They were long-term tourists, so people that would stay here maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month.
Yeah.
Okay. So I can't even define them as tourists; they are visitors.
Yes.
Okay. Long-term visitors.
Yes.
And so that meant the Venetians had time to cool down, relax.
Yeah.
Many of the places could close.
Yes.
Go on holiday, just take a breather and recharge next to the new season. Now that's not happening anymore. We don't have, you have crowds all the time. Not the big crowds that we have in summer, but still crowds. Still the buses are full, still the evaporators are full. And most of the places have to stay open because, of course, it's money, it's pay the bills and stuff. And so, I would say, though, really, April, May, June are the best months to come over.
Okay.
But you have to understand, in Venice, somebody cannot come here and say to me, I want to come when there is no people around. It doesn't work that way. You can do Venice with no people around. Just to go to Rialto San Marco and go to the other parts of the city. Simple as that.
Do you know what? I was a little bit surprised. I wouldn't say shocked, surprised. Because this time of year I thought, well, the cruise ships haven't come yet.
We haven't got any cruise ships.
Is that a rule now?
We're not going to have them for a long time. If they come, they're going to come. They are from Trieste and they come over with buses. No, because they stopped coming them.
Oh, when did they stop coming then?
Last year.
Is that because there was an uproar locally?
No, only locally. It was causing too much damages.
Yes.
There was too many also incidents because a couple of, what was there, 2019, 2020, I cannot remember, there was one that crashed into the side of the thing. So it started to get a bit too much and it was a bit, So
that kind of answers one of my questions later about...
And also causing a lot of problem to the environment of the Lagoon of Venice because it's got its own microclimate. The Lagoon of Venice has got a very delicate microsystem, and of course the passage of the cruise ships they do not pass in the Canal Grande. I would like to specify this. They were passing on the Canal of Giudecca, that is another bigger canal, but it still was causing a lot of movement, and not only that. Also, the fact that we were coming through the outside of Lagoon was causing problems. So, it's a good job that they
That's great.
did.
That's good to hear. So,
I mean, I totally get it that the people from the port are upset because, but it is 2,000 people against the life of a city. So, to be honest with you, I'll go anytime against the...
There's nothing worse because we live in Vancouver and when we see 3 cruise ships...
And we, at one stage, some days there will be like 10 to 15.
Oh, that's grim. That's grim.
Yeah.
So where do they go now? Do they go...
They go to Trieste. They go to Trieste and then they come over on buses.
On buses. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. We're going to go to a question from Instagram from Barbie Pix. She has asked, are the canals really dry right now?
Yes.
If so, how likely is that to continue through the summer?
Okay, so no. Yes, so they are dry, that's true, but that happens every February, March, every year. It's just the position of the moon. Yeah. Okay, it's just normal. It's a bit more than other years, but not, I think everywhere in the world things are changing anyway.
True.
But no, it's not likely that it's going to happen in the summer.
Okay.
Droughts don't have anything to do with the lack of water in the Lagoon of Venice. Okay. That's totally different thing. It's done by the moon, that's all it is.
So we're good.
We're good. You're good. And just keep coming, but do it properly.
Okay. Actually, to finish off the point before about being busy, take away cruise ships. I thought like February, March. Oh, surely be like less tourists. But
no, you got the carnival.
Oh, okay.
You have a carnival.
Okay. I think it's very busy.
It is. That's what I was saying to you.
Yeah.
Usually, the weeks immediately after Carnival, we have a period that is quite down because, Easter's going to come up.
Yes.
So you have a period that usually is, again, fairly quiet. It's not.
Yeah.
Because I think, I don't know why, it's just, I really don't know.
It's just one of those places that's always busy, isn't it?
But it didn't used to be like that.
Yeah, it's interesting.
I don't know. I really don't know. I think maybe it's got to do with the flights that are more or less, there isn't any more high, low. There is an average now.
Yeah.
So that's what's happening. So.
Okay. Next question is from Instagram from my friend George Nolan, who's a photographer.
Okay.
And he's been on the podcast too. Because he asked me, and I asked you, is there a fee to enter into Venice?
No. Okay, so let's clear this. It's been 3 years now that they keep saying that they want the fee will come into action.
Yes.
And they have all these programs to do it. And then every time the deadline arrives, there is a reason why they cannot do it. So I think the latest was that the program wasn't working. Okay, my personal view and on many others local area is never going to happen for a simple reason. How do you enforce something like that?
Exactly.
How do you differentiate between somebody that's here for tourism, somebody that is for business, somebody that lives in Venice, somebody that lives 20 kilometers and is coming to see his grandma? It's just not possible. Not only that, personally, I think that it is literally against the rights.
Okay.
You not stop. I can understand maybe you make it certain areas. Like in certain cities, they make pedestrians areas, so you cannot take a car.
Yeah.
We can't do that in Venice because Venice is pedestrian. But I can understand that they want to limit the number of people, maybe in St. Mark's Square. I get it. But limiting the city, it just doesn't make...
It's impossible,
Not
isn't
only that, people already paying a city tax.
Yes, true. City tax,
and it's true that this fee will be only for people, day trippers. So even if they go into place, if they manage to pass it, the people that actually sleep in Venice will not have to pay this fee. So as long as you sleep in the city, you're okay. I think as what they want to do is they want to stop people from sleeping outside the city and then coming during the day, because a lot of people go and stay maybe in Jesolo and so on, but they come over with a big boats, drop them here, they use all the services of the city and then they leave. But I don't think that's the way to do it. For me, the way you stop people doing certain things is education. Education. There should be a campaign from the city of educating people, of showing people how much there is to be done in Venice, so people don't stay for a day and they say, oh no, I can't do that in a day, I need to stay 4 or 5 days. And then you solve a problem and everybody's happy.
And just confirm, we're staying 4 nights. There you go.
That's it.
There you go. I just don't think you can see something in a day. Personally, day and night, I think you stay at least 2 or 3 if you can.
Exactly.
That's all based on budget and time, and I get that. Okay, first time is in Venice, so someone who's visiting for the first time. This might be a cliche question, but...
They're lost. No, it's true, in the real sense of the word. Forget about everything you heard about, go there. Don't. If you have only... Okay, first-timers. First of all, first-timers do stay at least 3 nights.
Yes.
Please stay at least 3 nights. The first day, obviously, do the main sites because you have to. But then accept that, one, the best thing is to throw away Google Maps, to throw away the maps, and just to go and wander around and get lost. The beauty of Venice is that, to find all the little alleyways. Don't go into a panic if you get lost, because it's only 3 square kilometers. So eventually you'll find your way. And to try to do not just there's a lot of information on Venice out there, but I've got to say a lot of information is wrong and is done is written by people that never even been to Venice, because they have to do the 5 things to do in Venice, 10 things to do in Venice, so they're not even local or they never even stayed in the city, whatever. So try maybe to follow, not necessarily my blog, but even other local blogs, okay, where we expose not just the site, but also the people. Try to eat local food, please. Why go to McDonald's when you can have...
I can't believe it's full.
I know, and you can eat cheaper and better in the place like we are at the moment. And just do a lot of research before coming. But I think for any trip, research, because you can really miss out. And try to organize your trip according to what you like to do. Not necessarily because somebody says to you that you have to go and see the church, you should go and see the church. Because if you don't like churches, you're not going to like it.
Exactly,
You know, if you like food, good. Organize a trip around food, the places to eat. You like art, organize it around that. And that will be the best way to do it.
Okay, an offshoot question would be the gondola.
Yes, a must.
A must do?
Oh yeah, of course.
But is there...
And I'm saying for somebody that didn't go on a gondola until about 15 years ago. So,
is there a way to do it? Is there like a top tip, or you just go to anyone and?
No, because years ago I would have said, "Oh, go to this place," but now it's been many years ago, a fixed price.
Okay.
So it doesn't matter where if you go to the official, you got to go to the official stores.
Yeah.
They got a sign outside with a gondolier. It is €80 for 30 minutes and 120 after 7 p.m.
Oh, okay.
But it is the same price whether you're in 2 people or in 6.
Oh, okay. I see where we're going with this.
So my tip will be to maybe meet other people and ask to share, but do not do it in front of a gondolier. We're not stupid. If they see you meeting outside, they're going to say, no, you two, you were on your own. So try to arrive there already as a group of 6.
Great tip.
And then it will be, but it's definitely worth it. You do get to see the city in a totally different kind of view. It's from down, from the water. You get to touch as if you, for example, another thing I wouldn't do is I wouldn't take a gondola in Samar Square. I will take it in the back streets. Because it's at Samar Square, you will end up doing the Grand Canal, but it's very choppy. You go with taxi and motor buses and stuff. But if you do it in the back streets, then you actually get to touch the walls as you pass it.
Oh,
and
wow,
it's an amazing, tell you, it's an amazing feeling. It's an amazing feeling.
That's great to hear that you said that, because I was worried that it's too cliche and it's not things to do.
No, come on. It's, I mean, I wouldn't say to you go to Rome and do the cart with a horse, because I feel sorry for the horse. I don't feel sorry for the gondoliers. They make enough money, don't worry.
Okay. Okay, I know you mentioned about do stuff that you want to do, but any personal favourites of things that you can maybe share to people who want to visit Venice?
Yeah. Absolutely. There's 2 places that I adore, and I think are so I'll not say they're undiscovered, because they're not, but let's say undervalued, understated.
Yes, undervalued,
one is Palazzo Grimani.
Okay.
It's a state museum that's got a beautiful collection of statues, and is a really different kind of palazzo from the others in Venice. And also the Fortuny Museum. The Fortuny Museum is where Mariano Fortuny used to live, and he used to be Spanish, but he used to be a what do you call it? The people that make for the theatre, the backgrounds for the theatre and stuff. He used to sign textile fabrics. He had a huge collection of paintings. He's the person that designed the doubtful dress. I mean, famous worldwide. And his place, he used to be his home. It's amazing. It just was restored about a year ago, and it's one of the most beautiful places in Venice. It's really beautiful.
Okay, no, great tips. And any advice for travellers for things they should not do? So what I mean by that is, you mentioned McDonald's, of course, but like, is there like tips just not to annoy the locals?
Okay, I got a few things on my website that it tells you 10 things not to do. Okay. Well, first of all, Venice is not a beach, so you don't swim in the canals of Venice. Not only for your safety, because of course there are taxis and motorboats and they chop your head off, but also Venice doesn't have a sewage system.
Got it. Okay.
So the new buildings have cistern underground, and that's fine. But buildings that haven't been restored, everything goes in the water.
Got it.
Would you swim in a sewage? No, you wouldn't.
Would you swim in the Thames? That's the question I'd ask.
No, exactly. So that's one thing that I really, I mean, I get it that sometimes in summer it's hot. Just please don't do that. It's bad. It's disrespectful.
Of course.
And it's dangerous for yourself anyway. Another thing, again, a bit of decor. And I don't say that you got to go around the city dressed as Gucci, but bare-chested, in a bikini, in summer, I repeat, Venice is a city. You wouldn't do it in your own home unless you are in a beach resort, and Venice is not. Okay, so why would you do it here? And for the same goes when you go inside churches. They are, and I'm not a religious person, but respect is respect. So like you respect when you go to a mosque, you should do the same when you go to a church. So if clearly outside it tells you, please do not take photos, please cover your shoulder, try to come not in shorts and look like a bikini. do it. It's just respect. That's all it is. I mean, like you
Sounds
want
basic, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's just basic respect. And that's it, because then I sound like a very morning person. Another one too.
So it was interesting. I went to the Sistine Chapel in Vatican City. No photos, no talking. That's the rule.
Oh, not talking as well. Okay,
Yeah,
I didn't.
silence. Impossible to enforce. Like the people at the front are trying to guard it, but the people at the back who are in little huddles, they've got little phones out, they're talking. It's impossible. But the disrespect of it. I mean, even I like a photo. I'll take a photo every minute. Yeah. But I will respect that 10 minutes in there.
Talking about photos, that's another thing maybe now, but this is the new thing. Ditch your phone every so often. Stop getting on gondolas and just taking pictures. Stop and enjoy the moment.
Yes.
Go to visit the places. Really, I mean, sometimes I see people just, and I'm, we are in the business.
Yeah.
I am a travel blogger, so I'm always taking photos, but there are moments where I forget because I'm actually living the moment. And to be honest with you, that's more important.
It is, and it's hard, isn't it, in modern day?
Yeah.
You see people, I totally hear you on that. Okay, next question is thoughts on over-tourism. So this kind of linked earlier about cruise ships now don't come here. Is it still a problem, over-tourism?
Yeah, because unfortunately I was hoping that during the pandemic the city will take some steps to, there was a time to do things about it. And I repeat, I wrote an article, we had conferences about it, and I always tell this to people, and people agree with me, but nothing is happening. I think that what we can do, the government can do bigger things, but at the micro level, people like me or everybody else is education. So let's talk about, as I will say before, research before you come in. Don't just come and open things. No, do some research. Know what you want to go and look for, because that way you're not going to clog the little streets. Because if everybody only knows San Marco and Rialto, everybody's only going to go to San Marco and Rialto. But if people like me, local, and also the authority, we try to promote other parts of Venice and explaining the history, what's behind, and why you should go there, then it doesn't matter how many people come, because you spread them. I mean, Venice used to have nearly 180,000 people living in the city.
Oh, wow.
So it's not like we cannot cope with the number.
Oh, wow, I didn't know there was that much.
But they lived all over the city.
Yes.
So I repeat, for me, if the problem is not as many people arrive, is the fact that they stay for a short period and they all do the same things. Education. For me, that's what we should all do.
Okay, and COVID-19, I talked to someone else who's a podcaster who'd done another podcast about over-tourism in Venice and Barcelona and stuff. And I was like, I wonder if Venetians, people who live in Venice, in COVID was like, wow, this is the first time in decades that no
beautiful.
Tourists are here. You've got
beautiful.
your own city back. You can walk around, all locals pretty much. It must have been a dream.
It was beautiful, but at the same time, it clearly showed that the city cannot live without tourism. Okay?
Yeah.
But I thought it was pretty clear, but obviously all of a sudden we realized that. But I repeat, what is, it's a question everybody has it on their mouth nowadays. Responsible tourism, sustainable tourism.
Yeah, that's a tough question.
Let's define that. It's not responsible tourism and sustainable tourism for me. It's not, I go and eat organic and I go and only have local stuff. Responsible tourism is, number one, you come over, you don't go Airbnb, you go hotel.
Yes.
Because Airbnb, we now know, it's not like we don't know anymore. We know this. Airbnb in Venice has caused the fact that nobody can rent a home anymore long term. The students of a university cannot find a place where to stay. They say, Venetians are leaving the city. Of course they live in the city. They cannot find a place to rent because it's so expensive to rent here. Because if I have an Airbnb, I don't, but let's say I have an Airbnb and I can rent my place for the same amount of money for a week what I could rent for a month, of course. I'm gonna go for Airbnb. So that's what's responsible tourism. Going to a hotel, you don't need to go to a 5-star hotel. There are some beautiful little hotels.
Oh yeah, ours is great value, I think.
But you go on hotel, you giving jobs to people working in the hotel. eating locally, that doesn't mean just going to the fancy restaurants. You can go to really normal. I mean, the restaurant scene has changed a lot in Venice lately. Back in the days, there used to be, the difference.
Yeah.
Venetian people, tourists. But now there are more and more excellent restaurants, not too expensive.
Yeah.
And go and visit the artisans, and by visiting the artisans, I don't just go and take an hour of their time asking 1,000 questions and walk away. Walk in, buy something. Those people live with their hands.
Yeah.
If you don't buy something and you take away their time, just asking questions and then walking away, it means that for an hour they didn't work and they didn't earn.
Yeah.
So and use local guides, rather than, I don't know. I just think that's what responsible tourism is. Might be a bit.
And don't go to McDonald's.
Well, yeah.
Which brings on nicely to the next question. Going to start getting to some nitty gritty stuff. So, your favourite local tips for restaurants?
Okay, book a tour with me. Of course. Come on, a little bit of...
it's allowed.
No, okay. Well, there are different sort of restaurants. So my tip usually is, during the day, go to have cicchetti in the Osteria, in the Baccari, the place like we are now at the moment, because you can just have a little glass of wine and a little bit of cicchetti, and then you can just go and do other things, stop in another place and do the same thing. Doesn't take away too much time. You don't get drowsy, you don't want to do the siesta. So you maximize your time in the city, and then in the evening go for a really good meal where you can splash out.
Okay.
Rather than, I really want to go for a big lunch. I passed this and that, and then what happens? All you want to do is go to sleep.
Yeah.
And you lost 3 hours in the city.
Yeah.
In the hotel.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, wasted. So I think that's one way to do it.
Okay. And any specific
Okay. So let's start from the top.
Yeah.
My top favorite restaurant in Venice is Alcovo. Everybody, it's fantastic. It's impossible to get a table.
Okay.
I love it.
Unless I know you.
Even for me, it's hard sometimes. I need to call mums in advance. But it's a family-run restaurant.
Yeah.
Cesare, Diane's wife, she's from Texas, and their son, and they're known all over the world. It's top restaurant in Venice.
Okay.
Another on my places with the cicchetti place is definitely the one we are here, so Cantina Aziende Agricole. Another one is called El Sbarleffo.
Okay.
They got 2 locations, and I love it because the cicchetti are fantastic, but then they have this particular drink that is called Cinico. That is my answer to spritz, because I don't like spritz.
Oh, wow.
And it's made with Prosecco, lime, mint, and cinnamon liquor.
Interesting.
Okay, but you find all of this on my blog, so that's fine. No, don't worry about it. It's on the blog. And also, I would say a new entry for me.
Oh.
And I know it can be a bit controversial because it is a brand, but I really like Terrazza Aperol.
Okay.
So it is a flagship restaurant, a flagship place of Aperol.
Yeah.
That's the only one in the world.
Okay.
It's a flagship, but it's the only one at the moment. They opened during the pandemic.
During
the pandemic, and I got to say I was very against it.
Yeah.
Because I thought, it's Aperol. I went there full of stereotypes.
Yeah.
And now it's one of my favorite places. Not so much for the drinks, because I don't like Aperol Spritz anyway.
Yeah.
But because they make great cocktails. I have even my own Monica Thai.
Oh, no, really?
The stuff is amazing.
Wow.
And I really like the fact that, for example, all of the building, all of the furniture and stuff, they make sure to use only local Veneto region people.
Mm-hmm.
So the architects were from Veneto. All of the wood used is from recycled wood from the Laguna of Venice.
Yeah.
The chandeliers are from Murano.
Wow.
The overproduce,
Local.
overproduce they use is from Venice or from Veneto.
Yeah.
The chef is one of the most famous chefs in the city.
Okay.
He's Venetian and he's been working in the city for 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
So I was very impressed. I had to totally change my mind on that.
That's good.
And a fantastic customer service. And if you tell them Monica sent you, they'll definitely treat you well.
Okay, that's a great tip. And next one is coffee.
Coffee.
Best place to go. You mentioned before recording, but...
Torrefazione Canareggio.
Okay.
This is one of the oldest coffee roasters. I think it's the second oldest coffee roaster in the city. I think that's a few years, they're going to be 100 years.
Wow.
They used to be on the main street that takes from the train station to Rialto, but now they moved near the ghetto, and they make amazing. They make their own blends. They make they only use organic coffee, and they roast their coffee very light, so very particular thing. And this year, the barista won an award for being one of the best baristas in the world.
So I have to go there and do a coffee episode.
Oh, you got to, and tell them I sent you.
Okay, cool.
Say Monica sent me open doors, many doors in Venice, many doors.
I'll bear that in mind for the next 4 days. Okay, that's brilliant. Okay, and any particular areas in Venice that people should stay in terms of hotels?
No, it depends what you want. If you, for example, if you're somebody like art and you want to stay in the art districts, then I would say stay in Dorso Duro, where you can stay near the Peggy Guggenheim, what is called the Dorso Duro Museum Mile, because it's full of museum there.
Yeah.
If you like food, then you should stay in Canareggio, because that's, you have all this, the movie, the place. If you want to see the oldest part of the city, then you need to stay near Rialto and San Marco. I'll tell you where not to stay.
Yes.
That is easier.
It's easy.
And that is near St. Mark's.
Okay.
Not because, there's beautiful hotels, but unless you want to cope with the crowds all the time.
All the time, yeah.
If you can cope with that and you're happy with that, that's fine. There's some amazing hotels around there. But if the crowds is a problem, but definitely don't stay anywhere near San Marco.
Yeah,
that's the only,
not for me.
But generally speaking, there isn't a safer or a not safe area of Venice, because there's only 50,000 people living in the city.
Okay.
We don't really have spike of crimes and stuff. Pickpocket every so
Pickpockets,
often, but not, not big thing. We don't have gangs and stuff. Too expensive. Gangs cannot afford Venice, so it's not like, I can go at 2 o'clock in the morning on my own walking in the city. The only thing is I'm scared is the big rats, because we have rats that are big as cats. That's the only thing,
Yeah, someone in Verona said the same thing. It's totally safe. You can walk around anytime, day and night.
Yeah. But generally speaking, I think all of the, apart from Padova, Treviso, Vicenza, Verona, and Venezia are very, very safe cities to work, to walk in the night.
Okay, cool. And do you offer tours in Venice?
Of course I do.
Yeah. What type of tours do you offer?
My question is how many tours do you offer? So I got my main one, that is a Cicchetti tour, for which I've also actually just last year published a book. It's in Italian at the moment, but it will come out in English, I hope, soon. I do a cake and chocolate tour.
Dream.
In the morning. So the Cicchetti tour is in the evening, the cake and chocolate tour is in the morning, a coffee and chocolate tour again in the morning, a tea and coffee tour again in the morning, or a wine tasting that can be lunchtime or evening, and then it's only about an hour and a half. The others are 3 hours.
Is there a rule in Italy about drinking coffee in the afternoon or
evening? And he says that because he walked in here and it's 6 o'clock and he asked for a coffee and he nearly got shot by me. Okay, no. Okay, let's say I would. An Italian would.
It's not cappuccino, though.
No, it's thank God for that. Yeah. Okay. Let me explain you something about the cappuccino, because everybody tells you not to drink a cappuccino after 11 o'clock.
Yes, that's the rule. Yeah.
And nobody ever explains you why. Okay.
I think I know why, but I'll let you explain.
Okay. Yeah. So there is a simple reason, and it's actually a very intelligent reason. So milk is heavy.
Yeah.
Okay, is a superfood in a way. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So you should only have drink generally in the morning, because that's what your body needs. Mm-hmm. Not only that, we are human beings. We shouldn't really have more calcium than we do. Okay. Mm-hmm. You go and have your cappuccino after lunch. Your bodies already have to cope with your lunch for digestion. You add the milk on the cappuccino that is very heavy. Yeah. That's it. You're never going to be able to digest that. Yeah. Simple as that. That's the reason why we don't have a cappuccino after 11 o'clock. Okay. But you can have coffee all throughout the day. Italians, but the difference is an Italian will never drink a coffee sitting down. He will go to the counter, over an espresso, in one shot, and walk out.
I'll tell you what, that is a great point. I went to Spain last year. Spanish people go in, they enjoy it, they stay there for hours. Italians are in 5 minutes, done, out.
That's a coffee. But then again, when it comes to drink wine, that's a totally different question. Okay.
Right.
Priorities.
And that's leading on to wine. Yeah. Local wine. Is there good places for people who love to drink a wine?
Absolutely. Veneto region is the regions in Italy with we have the biggest producer of wine in Italy.
Yeah.
for the third year in a row, we beat the champagne on the sales of sparkling wine with Prosecco.
Yeah.
We have a region in Italy with the highest number of indigenous grapes. We have got more than different type of reds and more than 40 whites, and I'm talking indigenous that are only grown in Veneto and nowhere else in the world.
Yeah.
Okay. And the Venice is the place where to try them. You should definitely try a rosso that is called Raboso. That is a bit of a particular one. That is a bit tangy, a bit soury, but is very particular. Refosco, the Valpolicella and the Amarone, of course. And on the whites, definitely the Pinot Grigio I don't particularly like, but you should try.
Yeah.
The Soave, Lugana, Ribolla Gialla. Oh gosh, we've got so many. I think that's enough.
And actually, I don't know if I asked earlier, traditional Venetian food. Did I ask that about specific dishes that you should try?
Okay, so for sure, if you do the cicchetti, you go to do bacalà mantecato, that is the musso dry cod.
Okay.
And the sardine saor, that is the sweet and sour sardines that are cooked, fried and then
sweet and sour.
Marinated with onions and vinegars and white wine. And then the typical dishes of Venice is the risotto in all its forms. So according to the season, you'll find it with the ingredient of the season. Artichokes, so if you're here in springs, for sure they're called castraure because they are the small little first artichokes out, and they only grow on the island of Sant'Erasmo. Fish, of course, because the Laguna of Venice offers so much fish, and particularly sardines, anchovies, sea bass, sea breams, squid, octopus, cuttlefish, polenta, of course.
Of course,
Pasta, of course, because of all over Italy we eat pasta. And what else? Our cold cuts. Oh my God, we have so many types of salami. One particularly is called soppressa, and it's not soppressata, totally different thing. Soppressa is only made in the Veneto region and is very particular. And then over different hams and cheeses. Oh my God, don't get me started. I mean, we need an hour just for the
there's
food,
too much choice.
That's
fine. I'll link to your food blog so you can read about it. Okay. And finally, about Venice, before we get on to your personal stuff, how would you describe Venetians?
Okay, so Venetians can be a bit funny. You have to remember 1600 years of being merchants. So Verabs is still in there somewhere. So Venetians, it depends. They can be very rude. I don't deny that. They can be very sneaky because they're merchants. But there are some of them that are amazing. It really depends. Let's say if you make an effort to try a little bit of Italian, a little bit of words in Italian, they will appreciate it and answer back in English. It is true, being merchants, they will try to sell you things, but don't haggle. That's not the things are done in Venice. No, we don't do that in Venice. But if you are nice to them and you show interest and you show that you are prepared, you go for food and you ask them and you trust them and you say, look, I really want to try a Veneto wine. Don't just give me Chianti, don't just give me a Tosca. Give me a Veneto wine. They like that because they think, okay, this person knows, he knows. Again, with the food, I came here to try this. They like that. And then it changes their attitude. If you walk in and you just start asking for spaghetti alla bolognese and or all'alfredo that doesn't exist and stuff like that, then they look at you and say, oh yeah, he's a tourist, and they'll treat you accordingly. Okay.
And one last thing, maybe Italy in general, just a few phrases. So obviously I say ciao. I say come va. Is that okay? Okay, I've not had good reactions to that. Maybe they don't understand what I'm saying. I'm not sure.
Let's say we wouldn't say that.
You wouldn't say that?
No. Tourists, you in America you tend to say how are you. We don't do that. I noticed when I came to America, everybody was asking me how are you, and I felt like saying, well, I'm not very well actually. And I thought, would be funny if I answer that. What would it feel like? We don't do that. We just say buongiorno.
Buongiorno.
We don't. I mean, usually the person when you ask come va is if you know somebody. So I walk in the places and I will say, but because I know the people. But if I walk in a new place, I will just say buongiorno. And the person will say, posso aiutarla? Can I help you? And then you say yes, no, whatever. But
buongiorno is a good day or good morning?
We say buongiorno means good morning.
Good morning.
And it goes throughout the day.
Oh, okay, goes throughout the day.
Until the afternoon, but generally...
Buonasera as well?
Yeah, when you say buonasera, buonanotte when you go to sleep.
Got it.
Yeah.
They're good to know, because I think what I've learned in Italy in general so far is that they do appreciate you making an effort.
Yeah.
And
it
when I was in France,
much.
I can't speak French, and it kind of it told a little bit.
It makes a big difference.
Yeah.
I went to Paris, and because I can speak French, they were all so friendly. And my French wasn't
so
that
friendly
great.
Still. Yeah,
It wasn't great, but just the fact that we tried a little.
I tried, but not great. But they appreciated that.
Yeah.
It's key to know. Okay, so you have a podcast. Yeah. What's the podcast called, and what do you offer on the podcast?
Okay, so the podcast is called Venice Talks. It's available on our platform, of course, and it was born with the idea to show Venice at 360 degrees. So that means I interview people that live and work in Venice, not necessarily Venetians, but for me, Venetians, because they either work in the city or they live in the city, so Venetian in the sense. I interview artisans, I interview directors of foundation and museums, I've interviewed shopkeepers, I've interviewed bloggers, I've interviewed photographers, travel guides, monument guides. I've tried to interview all different kind of people, so the way people understand how much can be done in Venice. This is a city that got more than 100 churches, more than 40 between museums and art galleries.
Wow.
Let's not talk about the restaurants, let's not talk about the artisans and everything else. And everybody comes in for Rialto San Marco and the gondola ride.
Of course. But maybe that's okay for the first time or first day.
First day.
Second, third day.
Get it all out on the first day and then experience Venice in the right way.
Okay, got it. And I've asked this already, but your podcast is in English?
Yes, it is. Yes.
And so people listening can obviously listen to that. And do you still blog about Venice as well?
Yes, not as much as I did, because of course my podcast is taking away a little bit, and because I'm writing another 2 books, and I do a lot of social medias, and I was on TV, so I'm a bit busy at the moment. But the blog is still active. I just haven't updated it because mainly out of time. But it's still there.
And TV, can you tell us maybe some TV shows or?
Okay, so recently, as I was telling you before, I did Apple TV with Eugene Levin in The Reluctant Traveler. I was on the episode of Venice, and we went around. It was quite good because I did about 20 minutes with him. So it was, we did a whole day filming, but in the show is 20 minutes. I did, we go back a long time ago, in 2014, I did a TV show with Alex Polizzi, that is a very famous British presenter with his Secret Italy, and I think that is available somewhere on YouTube. Then I did a program in Canada called La Dolce Vita with David Rocco. Again, that was about cooking. My gosh, what did I do? Oh God. Andrew Zimmerman. Yes, when he did what was it called? Something about food. He came to Venice. It was things to try in Venice, and I cannot remember. It was a long time ago. And then I did in Italian on Food Network all TV cooking program with a very famous Italian blogger, and it was about Venice and the cooking, and we did an hour cooking with her.
And anything new coming?
Not yet. So I'm here. I'm waiting. Call me. I'm waiting. I want my own TV show.
Okay, I'll put all links in the notes. And I got here. I used to active on YouTube because I know you started a YouTube channel.
Yes, but that's okay. As you know, when you go.
YouTube's so hard.
I don't have a team. It's only me.
Yeah.
It's only 24 hours, and it's only me. And I do have to make money for a living as well. So and I do have to do the tours in between. So
Okay. And where can people find you?
They can find me on my blog, www.monicacesarato.com or www.cookingvenice.com.
Okay, that's great. And I'll put all links in the links.
And then on social media, they find me everywhere.
And they should be easy to access for people to find you. Okay. I normally finish the episode with some quick-fire travel questions. And they are basically your favourite things that you experience whilst travelling.
Okay.
The first question is going to be...
Hey, just a quick one. I just want to say there are many ways to support this podcast. You can buy me a coffee and help support the podcast with $5. Or you can go to my merch store with the affiliate link with TeePublic, where there's plenty of merch available to buy, such as t-shirts, jumpers, hoodies, and also some children's clothing. Thirdly, which is free, you can also rate and review this podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Podchaser, or Good Pods. Also, you can find me on social media on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and TikTok. Simply just search for Winging It Travel Podcast, and you'll find me displaying all my social media content for travelling, podcast, and other stuff. Thank you. It's travel question time. 3 places in Italy. You can't include Venice in this because
no, of course.
That people should visit.
Okay, Emilia-Romagna for sure, but the coast of Emilia-Romagna.
Okay.
There's a little place called Igea Marina where my heart is. Is very rarely tourists go there, and it's a beautiful place, and it's still very provincial. The food is amazing because Emilia-Romagna food is fantastic. Another great place that I particularly love is in Val d'Aosta.
Oh yeah.
Somewhere with some valleys there near Courmayeur was fantastic. And oh my God, the third one, where would it be? Where did I have a great time? Oh, Trentino Alto Adige. I like going to Trentino Alto Adige. I like the food there and the people, and
Okay, and what about 3 countries internationally that you visited that you love visiting?
Okay, France for sure.
Yeah.
I really Greece.
Oh, what
Corfu.
place?
I was in Corfu. I love Corfu.
Yeah.
And Ireland. I love Ireland, and I love Dublin. I love Ireland and Dublin. Love it.
Okay, 3 international foods or cuisines.
Yep.
You can't include Italian, obviously.
Yep.
That are your favourites. They can be like countries' food. You can
Japanese.
Japanese, yeah.
For sure. French.
Interesting.
And I like Greek as well, yeah.
Well, Greek's a classic, yeah. Do you know?
But then again, I'm planning to go to Korea, so give me time. Ask me again in about a year and a half. If I manage to go to South Korea, it might be Korean food. I haven't tried it. I haven't tasted it yet.
We're off to Korea this year as well, so
I'll
let you know.
You're going to have to tell me then, because I want to go there.
My partner loves Korean food, so we're going to do that. 3 countries internationally that you've not travelled to that you'd love to visit.
Oh, Korea.
Yeah.
Korea.
Yeah.
Japan.
Yeah.
For sure. And Canada.
Okay.
Yeah, my
Canada.
favorite.
Gotta
Yeah, I know. It's so expensive, but yeah.
So expensive. Coming here is a dream.
Yeah.
But earning in Canada and spending in Italy, dream.
I just want somebody to sponsor me. So I said, come over. You do lots of podcasts in Canada. Come over. But it's okay. I happily live in a small closet. I'm happy with a little cooker next to it. I'll be happy.
Yeah, dream.
I
Okay.
cook.
1 city in the world to drink a coffee and watch the world go by. Where are you going to drink?
Venice.
No, you can't choose Venice.
I can't choose Venice. Oh, okay.
I'll let you have that one because it's obvious, but the second one.
Paris.
Paris, of
Of course, in a nice cafe with a French baguette. Oh, la la. And a croissant. Oh,
dream.
So stereotype, but so real. so true. I'm sorry.
It can't be beaten. I don't care
what
anyone says.
I'm sorry. It's the best breakfast in the world.
Yeah. Okay, and just very quickly, why should someone visit Venice?
Why not?
Okay. Done.
Why not? No. Because okay. I'll tell you where. It's not why people should be visiting Venice. I'll tell you what. Why Venice shouldn't be on a bucket list, but on a want list. That's different. Because it's a city that's got 1,600 years history.
Yeah.
The only country that was totally independent from the Pope during the Middle Ages. Never under the control of any state by its own.
So, Monica, thanks for coming onto the podcast. I've loved meeting you in Venice. This is part of my podcast now to meet people in localised areas. And you've taught me a lot about Venice because I'm not brilliant with Venice history. And I've got lots of recommendations for myself for the next 4 days. And I appreciate you making time.
Good. I loved talking to you. And if you ever come back, I'm here.
I think, do you know what, to finish very quickly, Italy is quickly become one of those countries. I don't normally go back to countries because there's too many to see. Mm-hmm. Italy and Japan are the 2 that I would go back. And Italy's only just recently gone to that list because it's just like Verona. I want to go back and just see that. Like, there's just too much to go and see.
That's the problem with Italy. We have got too much.
It's a trip in itself, and I think it's someone's got to visit.
Amazing.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you for listening to my Winging It Travel podcast episode today. You can find me on Instagram at James Hammond Travel or Winging It Travel Podcast. You can search for both. I release weekly clips of this podcast episode, as well as photos from the last 8 to 10 years of my travels. You can also follow me on TikTok, Facebook and Pinterest by searching Winging It Travel Podcast. I do release daily content to do with travel and the podcast throughout the week. Also, check out my website, jameshammond.org. There's content about myself, my travels, and there's also a newsletter sign up as well as a contact form. Finally, please rate and review the podcast on Podchaser. This is my platform of choice. Alternatively, you can rate this on Apple or wherever you get your podcasts from. This really helps the podcast gain a bit of traction for the future in terms of guests and content. And I'm glad to see that you guys are listening out there, reviewing it and enjoying the content so far. Stay safe, stay humble, keep listening, keep traveling, and I'll catch you soon. Cheers, James.